Hello everybody, Darren Yaki here with Echo Farms. So I just did a video the other day on this exact same creek. We just had the cattle out grazing the creek bank off. There's barely any water flowing through the creek. So we just received 2 inches of rain in about an hour. But during that time, we had received about 1 inch of that 2 inches in a very short amount of time. Now most of this water flows through our property. It comes off the neighbors above us. There's a lot of woods above us, along with some crop ground. I would sure hope that most of our water that hit our pasture system infiltrated into the ground. We should have very little runoff of ours. See, the water does look pretty brown and murky. So that's just flowing through. So a little bit about how we fence across creeks. Like here I got a fence that's still across the creek. We just use some steel rods on each side and run the poly wire across. This one is not pulled out yet by the water. You see there's stuff starting to build up on the one post. I'm going to pull that out right now and get it out of the water so we ain't got to worry about it floating downstream. So up until about 4 years ago, down here there was a permanent fence that cut across this creek. It was a barbed wire fence. We started over there, came across, and ended up over there on the wood post. We ended up taking that out because all that was good for was catching trash when the water got high. You see the water knocked some posts out over on the other side. They're all leaning over on the single strand of electric. They still have one rod post in yet. Well, I got some debris hung up on that one single strand of wire. Just amazes me what one little single strand of wire can do for collecting trash. There's a lot of stuff. Look, I got a big log on there even. All that grass, and all that is one strand of poly wire. The stuff is pretty strong, let me tell you that. I'm just trying to get it brought up here on the edge. Start cleaning some of that trash off that poly wire. Unfortunately, I think I lost probably 2 steel rod posts. I use these steel rod posts for crossing the creek. I can hit them in with a hammer down to the bottom of the creek into the rocks and stuff like that. So they work pretty well for doing that. See, my insulator got broke a little bit, bent up. Well, still probably usable yet. For the rod, probably a little bit of a bowl in the rod. But I didn't take these out yet because the cattle got to come back through this area. Not to graze it, but just to get back into the rotation. You got to kind of bring them through and make a lane. And they got to get across this creek one more time. Just to move them on to the next paddocks. But I think I'm going to go ahead and clean that wire off and just pull the wires tight across the creek so it's up above the water a couple feet and don't have to worry about it anymore for the rest of the evening. It's kind of a storm that just quickly popped up. Didn't even know it was coming. I mean, they're talking rain off and on this afternoon, and just like that, that storm popped up and really let out. We had a little bit of hail along with it even. But now the sun's out and everything can keep growing. Well, Darren Yaki signing off. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you much.